Fox 10 Midday is coming up next, but before we talk about that with Ashlyn, there's not one but two bananas on your desk. They both look like they're past ripe. What are we doing with these bananas,
You're
Ashlyn?
exposing me on live television.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to be healthier.
Well, then eat them.
And
don't just let them sit there.
I'm not a big banana fan. I'm taking them to work and I can't eat them. Would you like them?
After the we'll both eat one.
It'll make good banana bread.
There we go.
What about that?
That's
All right, Joe, here's what we're following for Fox 10 Midday today. First, Florida becoming a refuge for Israel evacuees. This after Governor Ron DeSantis welcomed a group of Israelis this morning. I'll have the latest on that effort. And then I'm excited about this one. I'm sitting down with two distinguished young women participants who happen to be the two girls I'm hosting for this year's final competition. I'm going to introduce you to the DYWs of Louisiana and Washington in a live interview. We'll talk all things DYW and what it's like being a host family over the next 2 weeks. Finally, we're already feeling those searing temperatures on your Friday. Jen will have your forecast for all of your weekend plans, so be sure to stick around for Fox 10 Midday after Studio 10.
Keeping a close eye on your forecast. Things are calm, quiet, and sunny out there for right now, but still some pop-up showers and storms possible. Plus, how's this weekend shaping up? I'll be breaking down all of your forecast details coming up.
And then a federal court sides with President Trump over his decision to federalize National Guard troops in California. We have the latest.
A major diplomatic effort is now underway to get Iran back to the bargaining table as the conflict enters its second week. I'm Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. Details coming up.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. We've officially made it to the weekend. You're watching Fox 10 Midday. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
And I'm Jennifer Lambert.
Jen, today is the first day of summer, and it's feeling like it.
That's exactly right. So whether really you celebrate it around Memorial Day, when the kids get out of school, me personally, it's mainly around June 1st. Yeah, but technically we are there for today. It's the summer solstice. It's going to be the longest day of the year, really, where we see sunlight out there. I know.
Liking the sound of that.
Exactly. Celebrate it, enjoy it, spend some time outdoors. But let's go ahead and take a look at what those conditions are looking like out there. We are starting to see some sunshine, not as much rain and thunderstorm activity like we have been seeing for the past few days. It's better out there, but there is going to be the trade-off. Things are beginning to warm up. We're starting to see some more of that sunshine, some of that high humidity out there. And so just some clear, calm, quiet conditions to start off for your Friday. A great way to kick off for the weekend. A live view outside over downtown Mobile, or really looking the other way. We're going to be looking towards the Bayway and the Causeway, the Eastern Shore over there from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship. Some calm, beautiful water there across Mobile Bay. Traffic moving a little bit on the slow side in case you are going to be heading out on the Bayway anytime soon. Westbound, still just starting to see some of that congestion. Eastbound looking a lot better. Temperatures resting in the mid 80s, but feeling more like 94 due to that humidity. But that's going to be the trend everywhere. Just starting to see some of those mid to upper 80s, already a 90 degree closer towards Gulf Shores. Dew points, however, just in the mid to upper 70s. So because these dew points are so high, we're falling within that muggy and that miserable category. It's not really feeling the best out there, but it is making it also feel warmer. The heat indices feels like temperatures 101 in Atmore, 102 in Calvert along with Pascagoula. Gulf Shores feeling like 100 degrees. You'll root for some of that rain coverage as we do get further along into the rest of this afternoon. I'll have more details on that and the timing coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Jen, thank you. First on midday this morning, 2 people are dead and 3 others hurt after a car drives off a ferry dock in Washington. This body camera video on your screen shows the moment police officers responded to that crash. Investigators say a deputy spotted a Mini Cooper speeding Tuesday night and tried to stop the vehicle. The car then taking off. A short time later, officials responded to reports of a Mini Cooper that had crashed over the ferry dock and into the water at the Edmonds Ferry Terminal. We're told a dive unit rescued 3 people and recovered 2 others who died. A ferry crew rescued another from the water. The 29-year-old driver survived the crash and was taken into custody. Right now, investigators are trying to determine the cause of the crash and if drugs and alcohol played a factor. And new on midday, a deadly rockfall at Banff National Park in the Canadian Rockies yesterday. Rescuers rushed to the park after hearing that a group of hikers had been struck by the rock slide. Mounted police and Parks Canada later confirming one died, 3 others were hurt near Bow Glacier Falls. Canadian officials add the search will continue today to confirm no other hikers are missing. The site is about 124 miles northwest of Calgary and about 85 miles from the site of the Group of 7 summit held this week. Right now, visitors are being asked to avoid the area altogether. Well, as President Trump weighs the possibility of U.S. strikes against Israel, the head of the UN's nuclear watchdog says there's still time for one more round of diplomacy. Here's Fox News correspondent Mike Tobin on the ground in Tel Aviv.
Israel and Iran are still exchanging strikes as the conflict enters its second week. And while President Trump considers U.S. airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, a big push is underway to get both sides back to the bargaining table. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency tells Fox News he's been in touch with the Iranians and President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff. He's stressing that there's no proof Iran is in the process of building a nuclear weapon and a diplomatic solution is still possible.
There is a way to take this danger or this concern out of the table in a negotiated way.
Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister meeting with his European counterparts in Geneva on Friday, hoping to come to consensus on the nuclear issue. But he's also claiming Iran rejected the idea of peace talks until the Israeli airstrikes stop.
We are not seeking negotiations. It is the Americans who want talks, but we made it explicitly clear to them that as long as this aggression continues, there is absolutely no room for diplomacy.
And with President Trump saying he'll make a decision within the next 2 weeks, diplomats from the West are trying to make it clear to Iran this could be the final round of diplomacy before those bunker buster bombs start falling.
President Trump is giving them one last chance before really hitting pedal to the metal here.
And while most Iranian missiles are shot down, one made its way through Israeli air defenses on Friday, hitting the town of Beersheba. No injuries reported. In Tel Aviv, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
And meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis welcomed a group of people who'd been evacuated from Israel to Florida early this morning. The people left due to the ongoing conflict with Iran. Right now, countries are evacuating their nationals from Israel and Iran by air, land, and sea. Governor DeSantis said Florida officials have helped with the exit of about 1,500 people from Israel and that the state took on a similar role, bringing people back to the U.S. after Hamas attacked Israel back in October of 2023. Well, in the meantime, with trade deadlines looming and no G7 summit deal, Canada is retaliating against the United States. On July 21st, it's set to impose new tariff rate quotas on steel. They're for countries that don't have related free trade agreements with Canada. And that could make American-made steel less appealing to Canadian buyers.
We're going to adjust them to levels consistent with the progress that's made at that point on the broader trading arrangements with the United States.
U.S. duties on Canadian steel and aluminum are 50% right now. Two officials say Canada has proposed swapping defense spending for relief from those measures, but to no avail. Right now, the U.S. and Canada are committed to reaching some kind of trade agreement in 30 days after talks during this week's G7 summit. But analysts say a number of world leaders are disappointed that gathering didn't produce any new U.S. deals. Well, the Trump administration scored a big legal win Thursday evening over the president's decision to deploy National Guard troops in Los Angeles during recent anti-ICE protests. Jeff Paul is breaking down the ruling from Los Angeles.
After tense standoffs on the streets and in the courts, a federal appeals court panel ruled unanimously that California National Guard troops can stay under President Trump's control after he deployed them in Los Angeles earlier this month.
They agreed with him on substance. He can use the National Guard if these rioters were interfering with his ability to carry out his executive mission, in this case, the ICE laws or the immigration laws.
President Trump took control of the troops over the objection of California Governor Gavin Newsom after anti-ICE protests turned violent and officers were attacked.
The chief of police in Los Angeles said before the National Guard was brought in that they were overwhelmed with the situation. So this wasn't just President Trump acting on his own.
The three judges said there are limits to a president seizing control of the state's guard, but in this instance, the president acted lawfully to protect federal agents and property. Trump celebrated the legal win online, posting in part, "This is a great decision for our country, and we will continue to protect and defend law-abiding Americans." Newsom responded saying, "We will not let this authoritarian use of military soldiers against citizens go unchecked." This was the first time National Guard troops had been deployed by the president without a governor's permission since 1965. In Los Angeles, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
And in local headlines now, investigators say Escambia County deputies shot and killed a man inside a fast food restaurant just west of Pensacola. The sheriff's office hasn't named the man yet, but the family identifies him as 37-year-old Daniel Lewis Hayes. Investigators say Hayes was facing charges related to an incident last Friday in which he's accused of holding a screwdriver to a victim's neck. He faced charges of domestic battery, strangulation, aggravated assault, burglary, and grand theft. Deputies got word that he was at the Arby's, and when they arrived at the parking lot, they say he ran inside the restaurant. They say he jumped the counter and got into a physical altercation with the deputy before pushing him to the ground. They say he then grabbed a large knife and confronted 3 deputies who had followed him behind the counter. Investigators say the man ignored commands to drop the knife. Authorities say the man then charged at deputies, and that's when 3 of them opened fire. Carlos Collins, who was Hayes' cousin, says he can't believe the law enforcement account of this incident.
I don't see him doing nothing they saying. I don't see it. Like I said, once again, he's a nice going guy, laughing. He always smiling. He's the most person that I know that get up in the morning and just smile all day for no reason. They just smile. So all that was nothing that he would ever do.
We're told no one else was hurt during this confrontation. The 3 deputies will be placed on paid administrative leave while the Florida Department of Law Enforcement conducts an independent investigation. Well, also on midday, we've learned the Tanner Williams Road Bridge just over the Alabama-Mississippi state line has been closed indefinitely. The Jackson County Road Department says it's been making repairs since February, but during an underwater inspection last week, several more concerning issues were discovered there. Officials say the inspectors found that the bridge's steel beams had deteriorated so much that it was no longer safe for traffic. We're told the bridge has had weight restrictions placed on it because of problems discovered in yearly above ground inspections. Those who live and work nearby, though, say they are already feeling the impact of the bridge's closure.
It's a big inconvenience on people, and I think people understand that work has to be done from time to time.
Jackson County Road Department officials say the county is looking for funding to replace the bridge altogether, and a newly built bridge could take 12 to 15 months. In the meantime, the city of Foley is continuing to improve streets around the city. Officials say the city is accepting bids to resurface at least 10 streets in the area. Some of those streets include Baldwin County 20 West from Hickory Street to Highway 59 and Baldwin County 24 from Alabama 59 to Juniper Street. Also on the list is Berry Avenue next to Alabama 59, including the connecting bicycle path, and North Cedar Street from US 98 to Fern Avenue. I know that was a lot of information there. For a complete list of streets to be resurfaced, visit the City of Foley's website. Well, straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday, we have some very special guests to introduce you to. 2 ladies participating in the Distinguished Young Women Finals will be in the studio after the break. But first, let's check in with Jen. Jen, it's the first day of summer.
That is exactly right, Ashlyn. It is officially the first day of summer. It is the summer solstice, meaning that it's going to be the longest day of the year, and just in terms of that daylight out there. So get out there and enjoy it. We're going to have a little over 14 hours of daylight in total for today. So sunset tonight, 7:58 in Mobile, 7:54 in Pensacola. Sunrise tomorrow to begin in Mobile, 5:50, 5:47 to start off on the Florida side. But I'll talk more about your forecast and the rain chances for today.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday. I have to say, I don't think I've ever been more excited for an interview. The Distinguished Young Women finalists are in town, one from each state competing for cash scholarships. For 2 weeks, they get to see the sights and sounds of the port city before competing the following week. And during their time, host families across the area open their homes to the girls, which is why I am so excited to introduce to you my host daughters, Grayson Wallace from Louisiana and Jessica Ella Thorpe from Washington. I'm so excited to have y'all today. You have no idea.
Oh, we're so excited to be on here.
So excited. This is so special and such a full circle moment for me. I was the DYW of Missouri in 2018. My host family provided me with an amazing experience, and now I get to give back with you guys. Okay, I have to ask, not to put you all on the spot, how has your host family experience been the past few days?
Oh, the best. I loved it. I had the most amazing host mom, Miss Ashlyn. We love her so much.
We are a little spoiled over there. We're getting beautiful home-cooked meals and desserts.
Right answers. I coached them well. I said positive answers only. And we had crumble last night.
Yes, we did. It was
so
so
great. So our goal is to have a sweet dessert every night because you guys are busy throughout the day. And speaking of being busy, today is Be Your Best Self Day. You have your t-shirts on. Can you explain what you've been doing today?
So today we were at the Junior League of Mobile doing some community service work with all the rest of the DYWs. This work for us included stocking a diaper bank for people in need and making some hygiene bags.
Yes. For both men and women.
Listen, I know you guys are busy from sunup to sundown. I've seen it firsthand. You have really early mornings and late nights. What's one of your favorite parts about getting to give back through this whole process?
I would say that it just feels so wonderful, and doing it with such talented young women who have a passion for community service just like we do is just so rewarding.
And getting to meet everyone from all the different states and getting to hear the different dialects and accents. Yes. And getting to meet things that are so different from each part of the country. It's so much fun.
It's incredible. You know, the world truly comes to Distinguished Young Women. And the first night we met, we were talking about differences in our state, similarities.
Yes.
Which brings me to the next question. What's a fun fact about your state that people might not know?
Oh, I don't know. I'm from Louisiana, so we're from I don't know,
You're a neighbor.
Yes, we're a neighbor. I drove here, actually. I didn't fly. But I don't know if y'all are familiar with Duck Dynasty, but Duck Dynasty was also filmed in Louisiana, so that's a fun fact about Louisiana.
I'm a huge Duck Dynasty fan. What about you?
Well, I'm from Washington, and I'm from a small town called Roslyn, which is where the TV show Northern Exposure was filmed.
That's incredible. So much fun there. Listen, I know you guys have a really busy week. We have the Battleship Party tonight with all the host families. We'll be line dancing in just a few hours. I can't wait to be with you all there. National Finals will be the 26th through the 28th next week. Ticket information is on our website, fox10tv.com. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all have been working so hard. Come out and watch these girls compete in categories of fitness, self-expression, talent. You don't want to miss it. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you for having
us.
And also, we love having some live audience members, too. A lot of fun to have them both here for this morning. Well, taking a live view outside, take a look at this. This is at Crab Island down in Destin, looking absolutely beautiful. You can start to see all of the boats out there, folks getting out and enjoying it on this Friday. Barely any clouds out there, real small on the horizon, some puffy white cumulus clouds out there, but looking great. So, hey, in case you're looking for weekend plans, boating, beach, pool, they're all looking great. We do have those rain chances out there, but mainly expecting it to be more of our summertime pattern where they start to pop up heading into the second half of the day. But taking a look at those current conditions out there, mid to upper 80s, some 90s, but high humidity. Gulf Shores already feeling like 100 degrees. It's hot. It's toasty out there. That'll only continue heading into the remainder of this afternoon. And our daytime highs, they're going to be maxing out really isolated upper 80s out there. Everywhere going to be seeing more of those lower to mid 90s. These temperatures above average for what we should be seeing at this point in June. Luckily, we're nowhere near that previous record, 102 set back in 1936. Although our actual air temperature won't be reaching the triple digits, we'll still be feeling like it with all of that humidity out there, possibly some upper 90s, but really expecting many spots to be feeling well over 100 degrees. Take breaks, stay hydrated, find that AC, and get creative with some of those ways to cool down. Look closer towards coastal Bristol, Mississippi, already forecasting a heat index of 107. But in case you are heading on out towards the water, it is going to be looking great out there. I like to see these lower numbers, some calmer wind. Winds will continue out of the south-southwest, still bringing in an abundance of Gulf moisture, so increasing the humidity out there. But it's going to be better, and that's also what's leading to some better rip current risk, some calmer water. So the rip current risk still moderate for today, anticipating that to drop to low heading into tomorrow and Sunday, and staying that way by the early part of next week. But just a reminder of our beach flag system, mainly still seeing some of those yellow flags out there for today, along with purple flags. That's signifying the abundance of jellyfish out there. Now let's go ahead and talk more about those rain chances. It's going to be more of an isolated to scattered look later on in the day, but the timing might be better in case you have any of those afternoon plans. It's a little different than what we've been seeing for this week. We saw storms firing off closer towards 10 a.m. the past few days. Not so much the case for today. This will be more of our typical summertime pattern where we reach that peak heating of the day, and that's when they really start to fire off. So this could impact any of those dinner plans you have tonight. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, some very loud thunder, even some gusty winds will be possible. Again, still random on the coverage. You don't want to pay too close attention to that. It's mainly going to be the timing still with this futurecast. So we'll see more of that really after 4 o'clock, continuing closer towards 9 p.m. That'll be the best timing. Once we get closer towards 10 o'clock, that's when those chances begin to fizzle out. But over the next 7 days, it only continues. Our summertime pattern is here. It is here to stay. No changes on the horizon. And even then, our temperatures are staying well above average. Less of the lower 90s, more of those mid 90s by the time we make it into midweek next week. So weekend plans, just keep in mind that we could see more of that rain coverage. I'll continue to keep you updated on your forecast with more details coming up in just a little bit. Plus, also we'll have more Fox 10 Midday coming up. But first,
thousands of classic cars are in the city of Mobile for the weekend. I'll have more on how you can catch them here at the grounds coming up.
All right, Mobile, get ready to start your engines. The second annual Mobile Bay Street Rod Nationals are getting underway this morning at the grounds. Our Stephen Moody has more on what's shaping up to be an incredible weekend there.
Thousands of classic cars, live music, food, and tons of other things to do means that we're going to have a good weekend here at the grounds. About 1,000 cars with nearly 100 years worth of history are on display this weekend at the grounds for the second annual Mobile Bay Street Rod Nationals. And it's sure to bring back some smiles and maybe some memories.
It's a good deal. It really is. It's exciting. I was here last year. A lot of folks just ooh and ah and carry on, you know, talk about one their daddy had or their grandpa had. And, you know, it's a lot of fun.
And this lot will be full of every car you can think of. And if you want to know what's under the hood, just ask.
I had a 40 Ford pickup here last year, and it was in the winner's circle. So hopefully I'll get in there again.
This is a 34 Ford Coupe, fiberglass body. Got a 383 stroker in it. I've had it about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months, and I've had it to a couple of shows.
And while these owners would love to be in the winner's circle this weekend, it's also about having a good time with good people.
We have really enjoyed coming here because of the people have been really, really helpful with us.
That's the bigger part of it. You know, I got friends here that I don't see but 2 or 3 times a year, but we almost feel like brothers. Be back next year if they have it.
And we have more information about tickets over on our website at fox10tv.com. Reporting here at the ground, Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
All right, Stephen, thank you. It's a beautiful day for that event out there. Well, coming up on Fox 10 Midday, part 2 of our special series, The Other LA. We dive into how the selection process works and determining where a movie is filmed. But first, let's check in with Jen.
And taking another look at your forecast, and hey, Dauphin Island might be a great idea for some of those movie shots, because look at how stunning this look is. Nice, sunny, plenty of sunshine out there, just a light, calm breeze. But as you do take a look over the next few hours, we will start to see those temperatures warming up to the mid 80s. Rain coverage a little higher heading into this evening, but really dependent upon where you are. I'll break down more of those details coming up when we come back.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Well, if you've been to the movies lately, you might have spotted some familiar sights. The Port City and parts of the Gulf Coast are featured in the newly released The Life of Chuck movie, playing right now in theaters. The film is the latest in a growing list of productions choosing Lower Alabama as their backdrop. Good Day Gulf Coast anchor Lee Peck has part 2 of our special series, The Other LA. We tag along with location scouts to see how the magic starts.
Long before big budget projects make their way to Lower Alabama, there's a lot of work on the front end.
Hey, great to see you.
Great to see you too. Come on in.
Thanks for having us today.
Kelly Shirazi, director of the Mobile Film Office, spends a lot of time pre-scouting potential film locations.
This is awesome. So we're going to grab some photos of the space. Okay.
Having worked more than a decade in the industry, she'll tell you anything is a film location. 2014's Rage, starring Nicolas Cage, transformed the History Museum of Mobile into a private school.
We're going to kind of stay open like this.
I followed Kelly as she took a tour of the newly opened Collective Studio in Midtown, which she believes can double as a New York City apartment or office space.
I think they're going to like the natural light of it, but also the versatility that this could be, you know, an office or it could be, you know, an apartment.
Taking several pictures, she'll add them to the Mobile Film Office database for potential film locations, giving directors and producers lots of options.
We like to create that relationship first. So when a project does need that space or needs something, we've already got a foot in the door.
So if anybody's coming in here and filming, they can use it.
Collective Studio co-owner Megan Atchison is thrilled at the opportunity.
I never thought it could double as a film set, but I always wanted it to be a spot where creatives could come and like be creative. And that was really one of the reasons why it's called Collective Studio, is because we want like a collective of creatives, a collective of people coming in and being able to do the things that they want to do.
But it's not just extras and film locations. Crews are also scouting vehicles.
This is our 1969 Corvette.
Debbie and Buddy Vic have quite the collection. Their 69 Vet and 1950 Chevy both featured in the film Jesus Revolution.
And yes, we're very proud of all of them. They're all our Corvette children.
This blue one straight off the showroom floor in 2015, and their first to be in a movie when the film Arkansas came calling. Actor Liam Hemsworth not only drove it, but signed it.
And this is Liam Hemsworth's signature. I did watch him and took pictures of him while he was doing it.
For Debbie, being on set was eye-opening.
I always loved movies. I always wanted to be a screenwriter. And this was a cool way for me to see how movies are made. They're not made in order, they're made in segments, and then they put it all together.
Meanwhile, back to the hunt for locations, downtown Mobile can easily stand in for Chicago or NYC. We're also within a few miles of just about any other backdrop Hollywood may need.
You know, Mobile's very special in that we have a very diverse geography. You know, there's very few places in the world that you can go from a beach to woody uplands in less than an hour.
Deep in the heart of downtown, 202 Government Street is serving up lots of options. From coffee to barbershops, there's even a cool corporate space upstairs.
You can do a lot of different things. So like if I maybe needed a barbershop, a coffee shop, and office space, you can do it all in one, which is really awesome. Makes productions really happy to have it all in one.
Add in a touch of Southern hospitality, they believe once they get producers on the ground, they're confident they can convince them Lower Alabama is the place to film.
Our friends in the industry know that when they come to Mobile, they're going to be receiving a high level of service no matter what. These productions have a serious time constraint because time is money, and we're trying to save them time at every turn.
And how neat is this? According to the Mobile Film Office's website, more than 70 films have been shot right here in Mobile since 1977. Of those, more than half shot since 2009, since the tax incentives kicked in. Among the more notable films like 2016's Get Out, 2008's Final Destination 4, 1992's Under Siege, 1988's Friday the 13th Part 7, and 1977's Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I love it. And some of my recent favorites, if you've seen Map of Tiny Perfect Things, a cute little rom-com on Amazon there, plus also that Arkansas movie. For all you folks that are familiar with Baldwin County, I recommend it because you will really start to see some of the familiar places there, especially those fireworks stands on I-10 closer towards the Florida state line. I highly recommend checking that out. Taking a live view outside down at Fairhope, seeing some sunshine out there, a calm little breeze, some calm water over Mobile Bay, but conditions across the southeast. What we're starting to see is just some of that sunshine out there. No rain showers and thunderstorms just yet. But just wait, summertime continues here across the Gulf Coast, so we're only going to continue to see more of those pop-up showers and storms by the time that we do get further along into the rest of today. Timing things out on our futurecast, we start off for this morning. Calm, quiet, sunny out there. And really the timing for today, it's going to be pushed back in comparison to what we have been seeing. Normally around this point, we've been seeing some of those showers and storms already firing off. Not the case, expecting this to be much later on in the day. So really it's going to be late afternoon, closer towards your dinner plans that you might start to see some of those impacts with those showers and storms beginning to fire off. Random where they develop. Again, don't pay too close attention to the placement on the futurecast. It's really the timing that we want to take away from this. So you could potentially see some of those showers or storms, heavy downpours, frequent lightning, some loud thunder, and some gusty winds will once again be possible heading later on into tonight. If you are making those dinner plans, just make sure that you have that rain gear, that rain jacket, that umbrella ready to go, just in case you need it. We'll turn quiet after 9 o'clock. Really best timing today is between 4 to 9 p.m. Rain chances will only continue for the days ahead of us. The summertime pattern, we are stuck in it. It's rinse and repeat every single day. There will be some minor tweaks and changes to the forecast, mainly based on timing, some of that coverage as we progress further along into the rest of the summertime. So just make sure that you do stay updated with us every day for some of those looks. But take a look at the heat index heading into today. This is reflective of some of that possible rain chances, really helping to cool things down. Anticipating more of that later on for this evening. Daytime highs maxing out upper 80s, lower 90s, but feeling more like the triple digits. That will only continue. And it's going to feel hot, toasty, steamy even heading into the next few days. If you are spending any time outside, stay hydrated, take breaks, enjoy the AC, just head on inside, cool down a little bit. And if you are spending time outside, apply the sunscreen over and over again. It's beautiful out at our local beaches. Look at all the folks getting out there and enjoying it. I love not seeing the waves breaking as far offshore, more along the immediate coastline. So just make sure that you are being cautious out there in case this is something that you're planning heading into this weekend. Temperatures 90 degrees, feeling more like 100 out there. But the Rip Current risk will be moderate for today, low tomorrow and Sunday. That water temperature just resting in the mid 80s out there. Checking in on the tropics, another great thing that I like to see, especially heading deeper into the month of June. We're now June 20th, and no new tropical development is expected over the next 7 days. The Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean waters all quiet. We'll continue to monitor and keep you updated right here on Fox 10. Always be cautious what you see on social media. Double check the timestamp and the source. Here's a look at the next 7 days. That summertime pattern continues. Daytime highs continue above average, lower to really mid 90s. Talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
All right, Jen, thank you. As we just saw, summer is officially here and the start of one of the busiest travel seasons of the year. With gas prices still the lowest they've been since 2021, AAA expects a record number of people to hit the road over the 4th of July holiday period. It runs from Saturday, June 28th to Sunday, July 6th. During that time, AAA predicts nearly 62 million Americans will take a trip by car. People traveling by air for the holiday could also set a new record. Nearly 6 million travelers are expected to fly this year to their destinations. As for other options, AAA says nearly 5 million people will travel by bus, train, or take a cruise over the 4th of July holiday. Well, Delta Airlines, in the meantime, is the best airline for the 7th year in a row. And that's all according to travel expert The Points Guy. The company's 2025 report was released Thursday, and it ranks airlines based on their reliability, loyalty programs, cost and reach, and other factors. Delta scored high marks for consistently being on time and having good customer service. I always fly Delta, so I can attest to that. Well, Starbucks in the meantime says it wants its products to be healthier, and they will work with the Trump administration as part of the Make America Healthy Again initiative. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the coffee giant will work on making healthy changes to their menu, which includes cutting back 30% of the entire menu for simplicity. And they're also testing more healthy drink options as well. Well, coming up on Fox 10 Midday, a new fishing tool claims it makes it easier to get your hook and line ready. We're putting it to the test after this. All right, welcome back. And if you're looking to impress your date with where to eat for dinner, you might want to head to Lima, Peru.
Just a little trick. Well, that's where Mado is located, and it just took the top spot in this year's World's 50 Best Restaurants survey as determined by the World's 50 Best Restaurants Academy.
Listen to this. The group says Mado serves Nikkei cuisine, which blends Japanese techniques with Peruvian ingredients.
It made the jump from 5th on the list last year to this year's first.
Must be pretty good. Asador Echevarri in Spain landed in the runner-up slot, while Mexico City's Quintonil was in 3rd place.
The only restaurant in the U.S. to get a nod in the top 50 was Atomics in New York City, ranking number 12. Wow.
Pretty incredible. This is kind of crazy because one of my friends was in Lima, Peru last week. And so I texted her a second ago and I said, did you get to go to this restaurant? She said, no, but I heard all about it. I'm going to have to take a trip back. So
might have to check it out. I don't know if I have a palate that'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I have a simple palate.
Yeah, I appreciate good food, but
right. Sometimes it's a little bit too authentic.
Right,
for me.
yeah.
My Chick-fil-A sandwich
exactly.
is a treat
I know what I like
for date night.
Yeah, but it's something to keep in mind.
Well, as the weather warms, fishing is a summer staple for a lot of people here on the Gulf Coast, but sometimes just getting your hook and line ready can take away a lot of the fun.
Rachel Hackbarth is testing out the Hook Ease. It's a small device that's supposed to make tying a knot a whole lot easier.
There was a lot of trees.
You can find Leo Bonsbach wetting his hook almost every day. He's going to see if this tiny tool, the Hook Ease, can help get rid of a big problem for a lot of fishermen like himself. Tying and cutting a knot in your line.
By the time you're my age, you probably know how to tie pretty much most of the knots that you use, but for somebody who's younger, this seems to be a very efficient way.
A twin pack of the Hook Ease tying tool costs $15.95. The instructions claim this will allow us to not only easily tie strong knots, but also protect us from accidentally hooking and hurting ourselves.
It says to begin, place the ring over your ring finger or attach it to your belt loop. It seems pretty simple.
Leo is now going to open this lid. This is where we put the hook.
So let's try a worm hook. That seems to fit in there.
We close the Hook Ease up.
Let's put the line through, and then it says to turn it 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Then it says to run this loop back through the bottom loop. Moisten it and cinch it down. It should cinch down.
There's our knot. The makers claim this gadget on the back will cut away any leftover line.
That works pretty good.
So did it tie a knot?
Yeah.
While this isn't a device Leo will need to add to his tackle box, he does believe for someone with less experience, this could be very helpful.
That's the hardest thing to get to know is how to tie your knots so that you don't lose the fish and the hook at the same time.
So do you think that the Hook Ease works?
Yes, it does work.
For Does It Work, I'm Rachel Hackbarth.
All right, Jen, I've been fishing a lot more with my husband lately because he's been begging me to. I don't have one of these gadgets because he puts the hook on the line for me and the bait. I refuse to touch the bait.
It's a good husband right there. I have Cole do it for me, but you know what? That may be a great idea for the kiddos to get them involved as they're still trying to learn some of the knots. Maybe an older folks, maybe someone you have in mind that has a little hard trouble with their hands. So I'm sure a lot of folks enjoy it.
Might be handy.
Something to check out. Let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast right now. And just a reminder, it's a great time to go ahead, download the Fox 10 weather app. That way you're staying updated with the forecast. It will become relevant heading into today, especially with the rain chances that we're going to have out there, because radar, it's quiet for right now. But don't forget that you can track along with that built-in Futurecast. Plus, also it'll send you push alert notifications in case heavy rain is headed your way or if you're near any of those lightning strikes. But let's take a live view outside right now. And hey, I went ahead and turned that camera down in Orange Beach. We were looking east. Now we're looking west. Look at all those folks getting out there and enjoying it. But hey, I wish I could be there too, because it is beautiful. Some vibrant water. It's also interesting to see how far some of the folks are out there that we can view from this camera now that we're starting to see some more of that calm water, making it to just a few of those sandbars out there. It's hot. It's toasty. Make sure you're applying that sunscreen over and over again. Yellow flags out there to start off. Temperatures right around 90 degrees, feeling more like 100. But as we do make it further along into the rest of today, anticipating more of those lower to mid 90s, above average for what we should be seeing this time of year, but the humidity does not help anything. Feeling like the triple digits all across the Gulf Coast. So you're almost rooting for some of those rain showers. I'll have another look at your Futurecast plus your 7-day outlook. That's coming up when we come back. More Fox 10 Midday is on the way after this, but for right now, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island.
All right, listen to this. Crews mount up for a mountaintop rescue in the middle of the night. Patrick Cornell has this story in today's Take a Look at This.
High in the Colorado evening sky, this helicopter hurries to the summit of Torrey's Peak, while a team on the ground makes the ascent on foot, a series of photos catching the journey. Up on the mountain, a pair of hikers hurt by a lightning strike. The two had lost their way during a storm, KUSA reports, so they called for help and were on the phone with the Alpine rescue team when they were hit.
Next thing he knew, there was an extremely loud commotion, and he heard the phone drop, he heard screaming, and probably 5 or 10 seconds later, somebody got back on the phone and said, "We've been struck by lightning."
With the other hiker unresponsive, crews then rushing to the scene. In the dead of night, flying to first pluck the critical patient from the peak, then hoisting the second hiker to safety around midnight. Both hikers are expected to be okay and got to thank their heroes.
It was really great to sort of have that full circle closure and be able to speak to somebody that we saved. He was extremely thankful.
Let's talk about a couple that's getting their adrenaline rush in another way, riding a roller coaster over and over and over to the tune of 1,500 trips around the track last season, according to KTIV.
And this year we're trying to do 20 a day.
Roller coaster riding retirees Tom and Margaret Wugazer are racking up runs for their ultimate goal, 2,000 trips this season on their favorite ride, the Legend at Arnold's Park in Iowa, spending every day making their way around the attraction and building a following in the process.
When they walk through the gates, everybody's waving at them. Everybody's, "Tom, Margaret!" So like they've gotten their own fan base here.
The thrill-seeking seniors have already accumulated 600 runs this year in their race to get to 2,000. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
And here's your 3 to know before you go today. Nike has delayed the release of its new activewear line with reality star Kim Kardashian. The Nike Skims release was supposed to happen this spring, but according to a source, it's been pushed back due to production delays. A new launch has not yet been revealed. Now, the collaboration with Skims is a first for Nike, which until now had never partnered with an outside company before to create a new brand. Nike is looking to boost its fortunes as its stock has actually fallen off by 20% this year. Well, the world's most famous frightening fictional shark turns 50 today. The legendary film Jaws hit theaters on June 20th, 1975. This film has been noted by many as the forerunner of modern Hollywood and put director Steven Spielberg on the map. The movie rights for Jaws were purchased for roughly $175,000, and get this, it cost $12 million to make and grossed $267 million at the box office. The film spawned 3 Oscar wins and set the table for 3 sequels as well. Well, finally, today we celebrate our nation's symbol. It's National American Eagle Day. The bald eagle has been at the center of the United States Great Seal since 1782, but as we we know, the eagle isn't actually bald as we know the word. Instead, it's the Middle English reference to white-headed. The American Eagle Foundation says the bird gets its full white head and yellow beak and eyes at roughly 4 to 5 years of age. Now, its populations at one time were as low as below 500 nesting pairs across the country. That's since rebounded to more than 70,000. And this day is all about honoring our nation's symbol, but also efforts to protect the birds in the wild. Also a reminder that July 4th is on the horizon, really the epitome of summer there.
There you go, something to keep in mind. And I always love seeing a bald eagle driving into work sometimes. You'll see them on the Bayway, so always keep an eye out. Let's go ahead and take another look at your forecast. Heading into today, we will start to see more of that rain coverage beginning to pop up heading into this evening. Main timing begins to fire off after 3 o'clock, possibly even closer towards 4 o'clock. Don't pay too close attention to the placement. It's going to be random where they start to develop more of the timing between really 3 o'clock. So it's when we could start to see some of those to 9 p.m. heading into tonight. Some heavy downpours, frequent lightning, loud thunder, gusty winds will be possible. Really wants to start fizzling more of that out just closer towards 10 p.m. Summertime pattern is here and here to stay. No major changes in our forecast. We'll stay above average, hot, toasty, humid, and stormies in the afternoon. That'll continue all into next week.
Happy first day of summer, however you celebrate. I'm going to celebrate with a cold Dr. Pepper.
There you go. Have a great weekend, everyone.
We'll see you guys on Monday. Hey there, Ashlyn Mitchell here. The 2025 air race is actually set to end today. It's a story we first told you about last week. It is the USA's only all-female cross-country airplane race, founded in 1929 by Amelia Earhart herself, which is pretty cool. Now, a Fairhope mother and daughter, Misty and Ivy, have been flying in this race. Their team is called Poison Ivy, and according to this live map right here, they landed this morning in Spokane, Washington, which was the finish line, which is pretty incredible. You can see there right here. If we scroll out, there are several teams that are behind them. But I do want to point out that this race is not based on who gets to the finish line first. Every single team is given a handicap speed at the start of the race. So whoever does the best job beating their handicap time actually wins overall. So we won't actually know who the winner is until Sunday, but we'll be sure to let you know here on Fox 10 News as we learn more. And coming up on Fox 10 News at 5, you'll hear more of their story.